Alright, hopefully you've gone ahead and read Raymonds Run by Tony Cade Bambra and answered the questions that went along with that short story. There's a few things that make this story particularly unique. First of all, the point of view, of course, is the strongest element that jumps out at the reader. This is a first-person narrative, and so the reader's very much inside the mind of the narrator. The narrator's being told, from one character's perspective, or the story's being told from one character's perspective, and we kind of know this character's thoughts and feelings about the world around them, and we kind of experience the world of the story through this character. Now, when we have a first-person narrative, a few things automatically become kind of important questions. First of all, we get a feel for who this character is, often through the use of dialect. When I say the word dialect, I really mean the particular way that language is spoken in the story. So you'll notice there's a few words that appear to be misspelled, like she's saying doze for clothes, or clothes, I guess. For clothes she says doze or something. And there's a few other words kind of like that throughout the story. And you'll notice she starts a lot of her lines not in... Well, most of the sentences aren't necessarily like complete sentences, nor do they start correctly, and this is all part of giving us who this person is, who this character is, and giving the reader a particular voice to listen to. And the voice, when we're dealing with dialect, usually we're talking about how it's unique to a particular region or culture, in this case an age group, and then diction becomes incredibly important, especially with first-person narrative. This means the particular word choices that Bambra makes as part of this story would be particularly meaningful, because she's chosen this character, this voice, and these particular words in order for the reader to somehow experience the world of the story. So there's a very particular lens through which she's wanting us to experience it. So first-person narrative is automatically, though, going to be a subjective experience, a subjective voice, and a very certain perspective. So we automatically want to ask ourselves why this perspective in particular. Why are we supposed to look at this story through the eyes of a child, through the eyes of a female, a young female, who's notes herself to be poor and African American? Why this perspective? What's the importance of this perspective? What are we supposed to understand from this perspective? And to kind of answer that question, we sort of have to follow that up with what in particular is observed by this narrator. We see her not only kind of attempt to describe herself and who she is, kind of throughout the story. She introduces herself as Squeaky at the beginning. Squeaky is the fastest thing on 2 feet. But her brother Raymond may not be far behind. I don't have much work to do around the house like some girls. My mother does that. And I don't have to earn my pocket money by hustling. So she starts off by kind of telling us a little bit about herself and how her situation is unique from other people, how she's the one who cares for her brother Raymond, and sort of seems to take a sense of pride in doing that. How running's her thing. And we get this observation of what girls are like, and other children like, what the teacher is like, what Raymond's like, what it means to be a runner, what it means to fit into traditional gender roles, the white dress and the dancing around the maple. So we get some very specific observations that Bamber wants us to see through this specific lens. And so that kind of gets into the question of why that lens. And we kind of want to ask, what's unique about this narrator's perspective? What are we supposed to get from it as readers? All right.